Sean Bose, concert visual designer in Los Angeles, California. And today, we're talking about setting your day rate. There's a lot of mystery around pricing in the design world. You get an email from a client or studio asking about your rate, you agonize over what to say, and finally settle on a number and hit send. Then you either hear back, or maybe more often, you don't. Was the price too high? Was it too low? Who knows? Most of the time you don't get any feedback. Or let's say you do get the gig at the studio. You're sitting there next to a room full of other freelancers. How much are they getting paid to work on this project? Is it the same? Is it okay to ask about that? Can the producer hear my thoughts? Am I going to get fired? These are common questions that incite anxiety in so many freelancers. It's hard to have clarity without the feedback. So today I'm going to share with you how I've calculated my rate over the past 3 years, what those rates were, what the people around me are charging, so you can get a better sense of how to set a rate that both pays your bills and accurately represents your value. There are two main things you need to do. Do some math and ask around. Or you can watch this video and get two birds stoned at once. Math. I know, scary word for some designers, but if you're a freelancer, you're also a business person. So math isn't scary to you. In fact, it's your secret weapon. So to do the math, we're going to start at the end. Figure out how much money you need, and then maybe figure out how much money you want. Then we'll add a little for the tax man, for some mistakes, and a little profit. Then we'll divide that down by different time increments until you get your different rates. The bonus trick here is to keep in mind you won't be booked every day of the year. And there's work that needs to be done in your business outside of doing the design work. When I started freelancing 3 years ago, I had about 4 years experience under my belt as a motion designer for an ad agency back in Boston. When I left that job, I was making a salary of around $70,000. So when I was figuring out my big number at the end, I knew obviously I don't want to make any less than that. I also knew what my monthly expenses were for myself and for my business. Rent, insurance, transportation, utilities, plus software subscriptions, beer money, the essentials. And don't forget savings and investments too. Future you will thank you. Add these all up to get your needs, but don't stop there. Then you need to figure out your goal. This can be whatever you want, but think about it a bit and put a little math into it. Now that you have those numbers in mind, it's time to do some math. Since this number is really what you need after taxes, we're going to multiply that number by 1.4 or 1.5 to add a little room for the tax man. Next, you're going to divide by 3 for your weekly rate.
But Sean, there's 4 or more weeks in a month.
Yes, I know. Remember when we said that you're not going to work all the time and there's work that you need to do that's not client work? Like sending all these emails and doing client outreach to get these clients in the first place? Yeah. That's that extra week a month of administrative shit, taking a vacation, and making mistakes. Next, you can divide by 5 or 4 for a little extra for your day rate. If you want to go a step further, divide that by 8 for an hourly rate. Now, I don't recommend working for an hourly rate, but it's useful to have to do calculations for things like project rates or extended day rates, overtime rates, things like that. Speaking of overtime and holiday rates, you'll want to multiply by 1.5 for overtime or 2 for holidays. Overtime usually only applies to the hours after a set amount, and this needs to be agreed upon in your initial agreement with the client. But you can say any hours over 10 hours get charged at an overtime rate, which is 1.5 of your normal rate. Holidays, nobody wants to work holidays, so charge double for them. That way you either make the client think twice or you get paid. Try out this math for both your needs minimum and your goal and see what your range is. So as you can see, when I did my math starting out, it got me numbers between 400 and 500. The other thing you can do is ask around. During my first year as a freelancer, I would go out to lunch with some of the other freelancers and start up a conversation. And occasionally I would ask them, once we got a bit comfortable, hey man, do you mind, I'm just starting out here, would you mind sharing what your rate is? Like, I'm not even sure if mine is right. And to be honest, most people are pretty chill about talking about it because they understand the struggle, and it helps everyone if we all charge an appropriate amount, aka more. So I'd ask around, and I found out that some of the people I was working with, they were doing pretty similar work as I was, were charging $50 to $100 per day more than me. So that brings me to the third thing you can do. Bonus! The third thing you can do is guess and just raise it every time until people start looking at you funny. Obviously now you have this framework which will allow you to have an educated guess to begin with, but if everybody just says yes right off the bat,
you could probably go up.
Raise it by $50 a day until people start saying no. Then you know you've hit your value ceiling. Alright guys, so that's some information about how you can set your day rate. Now get out there and start making money. If you got anything out of this video, if it was entertaining or informational to you, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and come back later for more videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.